Hi everyone, my name is Morgan and I am so glad to have you here in this video with me today. We are working on all things feet and working through feet strengthening exercises. So our feet are the foundation to our body, so we're going to move from the ground up today. What you need, if you need some more support for balance, definitely have a chair near you. But all you need is no socks and just a comfortable flat surface to stand on. So to start, you're going to have your feet hip distance apart, just thinking of standing as you naturally do. And we're going to start with your foot that may feel not your strongest, the one that you don't usually pick, and then we'll build from there. So I'm going to start with my left. We're going to start with our big toe lifting up, our four toes keeping down on the floor. So you can look down or be in front of a mirror. That can help as well. So think of your toes like your hands. You're going to find wide and then push them flat down to the floor. Feeling all four toes press firmly. Now lift and float that big toe up and then bring it down. And that's our first move here, lifting and lowering. The goal here is really trying to keep all four toes grounded as much as you can. You're going to see my one foot doesn't like to cooperate. That toe wants to lift, but we do the best that we can. We're going to go for a total of 10. So we've got 3 more here. Lift and lower, lift. You've got 1 more. And then bring that toe down. Big toe pushes down to the floor like you've got a piece of paper underneath it. And it has your deepest, darkest secret. And I'm trying to read it. You're trying to keep it to yourself. So that piece of paper firmly underneath the big toe. Lift all 4 toes up. Try to spread them wide as best as you can. And then lay them gently down to the floor. You lift them up and down. What we want to avoid is a little bit of that rotation inwards through that ankle joint. So thinking of keeping that arch nice and lifted, like there's a little needle underneath there. This is usually a little bit easier than the big toe. You're going to give me 3 more here. 2 and 1. Now we're going to lift all 4 toes, or pardon me, all 5 toes up. We're going to do rainbows, starting with our pinky toe. You're going to place that pinky toe down. All the toes follow until that big toe touches the ground. Then you lift them all the way up. Pinky toe, all the way down, big toe. Lift. Making sure that we're not holding tension in our traps too when we're doing this. A lot of times it's that brain-body connection. It can feel a little frustrating, so give yourself grace. And try to breathe through this. Exhale on that hardest part will help build that strength in this mobility exercise. We're going to go for 4 more. Lift, spreading those toes as wide as you can. 2 and 1. Now, if you need to shake it out at any time, feel free to do so. We're going to do the rainbow the other way. This one's a little more tricky. So from here, you're going to lift all toes up. Now you're going to put the big toe down. Then every toe follows, like you're placing a pearl necklace down on the table. So you lift all 5 up. Then you start with that big toe and just find that rainbow down. Lift, big toe, all the way down. Lift. So we're working individually through these small muscles, through these small joints in the feet. They are very similar to our hands, but we're working through those intrinsic muscles, being able to have the feet strong in its relationship to the ground and in supporting your body. You're going to give me 2 more. Good. 1 more. And release. Okay. 2 more exercises on this foot, then we move on to the other. This one can be tricky. It's called big toe abduction. Abduction just means you're moving a body part away from that center of line, if you will, so away from the toes. So all 5 toes nice and long. Big toe, you're going to look down, thinking of just sliding that big toe side to side. You're going to slide and bring it in. Slide. Bring it in. It may not go far. All four toes might start to feel like a little more active. Maybe they lift a little. This, again, if you're not used to moving your toes individually, independently like this, it's going to take a few repetitions, practice, 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 to really feel that smoothness here. You're going to go for 4. Really great if you wear high heels, especially those pointed toes, watching for any kind of bunion movement here. You've got 2, and you have 1. Good. Last one on this foot is the arches. So I call them like arch inchworms. So essentially we're working on shortening and contracting the muscle and lengthening it. So how this is going to look. You're going to see in the side profile, my back foot is behind me just for more support. The more your weight is forward, the more weight you have to move. More weight is back, less weight you need to move. So you can kind of play where your weight is, whatever feels comfortable. Now, looking at the ball joint here in your heel, this is where that arch lifts. What we want to do is as that arch lifts, you're thinking of pulling that ball and that heel together. So you're shortening through that foot, like again, like a little needles underneath that arch. So toes are flat, and you're going to pull, think of pulling the ball of your foot back, noticing that lift through that arch, and then releasing. You should see that in my foot here, that slight lift and lower. Exhale and lower. There is studies out that correlates foot strength, intrinsic work, into pelvic floor health. So believe it or not, everything's interconnected. So if you've got some pelvic floor issues, this might be a helpful component to build into your practice. You've got for 3. Using that breath, you've got for 2. And you got for 1. And then you shake it out, roll out your feet. All right, that was the one foot. Now we do this all over again. So back to standing how we are, starting with that big toe lift, all 4 toes down. So again, looking in a mirror, looking straight down, push all 4 toes down, lift that big toe, bring it down. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Again, you might feel, most likely you are actually going to feel, one foot feels stronger and more connected to you than the other. That is human, as frustrating as it is. You're going to give me 3 more. Lift, lower, trying to keep that ankle joint as stable as you can, so not as wobbly. Think of strong. Last one, and bring it down. Now you're going to push through that big toe. All 4 toes lift. So you lift the 4 toes and drop it down. Lift and drop. Sometimes, again, when we're learning this pattern, we want to move our knee and ankle joint to lift the toes. Again, if you notice that, you're just going to keep looking, correcting, and keep doing that until it feels, again, like you're able to just isolate into those toes. I'm actively pushing that big toe down. Remember, you've got that piece of paper with your deepest, darkest secret on it. You've got for 4, 3, 2, and 1. It is also normal if you start to feel it on the side of the lower leg and around that ankle joint. Again, you're working through those muscles as well. So they help to stabilize the feet in that ankle joint, okay? Now we're going to lift all 5 toes. Rainbow, starting with that pinky toe down. So all 5 toes up, pinky toe down, finding that rainbow to the big toe, lift, pinky toe, and rolling. So again, if you want to feel it kind of like in those hands, how we have a lot of that dexterity is you're just letting those fingers lift and then drop and then trying to build that connection to those feet. Good. Each time your toes drop down to the floor, really try to think of spreading them wide as best as you can. You're going to give me 2 and 1. Now we're going to go the other way. So lift all 5 toes. Big toe comes down, then other toes follow one at a time as best as you can. For me, once I get that second toe down, all the other toes come down. So again, we give ourselves grace. Good. Breathing through this again, there can be a lot of tension building up in that leg. So if you need to shake it out at any time, please feel free to do so. You're gonna go for 4. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Again, releasing that tension. All right, this is the big toe abduction. So that big toe goes out and in. So resetting your feet. All 5 toes are nice and long. Gliding that big toe out, pulling in, out and in, out, in. This side, I definitely have a whole lot more control over it. And I see I have a bigger range. Good. This one was hard to learn, so if you're learning this for the first time, I'm proud of you. You're gonna give me 4. You can even do this as a party trick if you wanted to. 2 and 1. Good. Shaking it out. Last thing here is we're finding those arches. So that arch lift. Depending on how you're feeling, you're going to choose where your weight's going to be. For me, I can have my weight a little more forward. Big toes, big toe, all 4 toes nice and long, okay? Long connected to that floor. Now exhale, pull that arch up towards the ceiling, like you're lifting away from a needle that just protruded up from the ground, and let it flatten. Exhale, up. From here, there's a lot of times we can find that we want to roll onto the outside of the foot. That can be a little bit where we have more of that dysfunction, if you will, that we rely more on the outside muscles, feeling more comfortable moving because we're out of that full tension. My goal for you is really trying to keep pressure on that big toe down as you lift that arch and lower. We're going to go for 4, for 3, for 2, 1 more, and release. And you can do a little dance if that feels good. That was what I like to call a short but sweet feet intrinsic exercise. Now, this can be used before you do any kind of leg workout, for example, if you're doing a lot of squats, lunges, really great to prep your body for this. It'll help with alignment and strength of the knees and hips. I promise it'll make a difference. Or if you're a runner, sprinting, jumping, whatever your life looks like, hiking, really great to do. And if you're just a human that lives in shoes all the time, sometimes it's nice to let the toes free and move them around. I hope you like it, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.